Cody, you want to talk? Did you watch Elimination Chamber?
No, I did not.
I didn't.
Did you? Yeah.
Did you watch it, Joe?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah.
So go. Give me some.
Give us a little synopsis of the whole thing in your view as a fan.
Yeah, who was over? Who wasn't over? Who was? What match was good? What match was bad?
Yeah, I've never been in a Philadelphia crowd that seemed that disinterested, and there was.
Okay, so let me. Wait. Why do you think that is? If it was practically sold out, what happened?
I think people expected more. Elimination Chamber usually has a main event. It's the Elimination Chamber match with 6 stars or something like that. 6-star wrestlers, that is. In this case, it was just a showcase for Shayna Baszler to beat the shit out of, Natalya and Asuka are pretty well known, but I don't think Liv Morgan or Ruby Riott or Sarah Logan should they be
that was the main event?
A pay-per-view main event. Yeah. It was Shayna versus.
Was it really?
Yeah, Elimination Chamber. Shayna versus.
She just went in there and choked out everybody.
Yeah, it wasn't.
What did they expect?
I thought it.
I mean, if you're not gonna, but bro, that's Philly. That's a tough town. The Broad Street bullies and stuff.
Yeah.
You're putting a bunch of girls in the main event.
Yeah.
Of course, they're gonna be flat.
If they would have
they
switched
want to
it
see.
up.
They want to see Austin versus Bret Hart. That's that type of crowd. The funniest thing is, let me ask you a question, Joe.
Yeah.
Have you gone to most of the major wrestling events in Philadelphia over the past few years at the big arena?
Yeah, actually, the last few years. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Since the Rumble, where Reigns got booed out of the building, would you go back to that point? Have the crowds been the same probably since then?
No, there was a whole lot of. I went to the show last year. It was Extreme Rules, and you had Rollins teaming with Becky in the main event against Corbin and the blonde. The Southern Belle, whatever her name, I can't remember her name. And then Undertaker was there in a match.
Yeah, Lee Evans or whatever, Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans, yeah. And there was a lot of excitement for that. There was a lot of excitement for Undertaker. There was an AJ Styles match that was, way over. And we got the big surprise where, if you remember, and you probably don't because there's so many shows, but Lesnar came in at the end and cashed in his Money in the Bank and became champion again. That's what you give a Philly crowd, a big star and a big moment like that, right? This was like the opposite where they just said, they just threw some filler out there. And I said to my brother, because he follows it a lot more closely, I said, is this the last show before WrestleMania? And he said, yeah. And I said, wow, that's interesting that they didn't do anything really to hype the big WrestleMania matches. There was no Goldberg or Reigns there. There was no Cena or Wyatt there. Becky didn't come out to confront Shayna Baszler, And the only Undertaker came out and attacked Styles and Gallows and Anderson.
And that's why we go back to what we were talking about before, Joe, that they don't do things like that anymore. So for us, you know what I'm saying? We're like, this could be so much better and it was better,
right.
And I think for a lot of the fans too, that they're expecting big things to happen one pay-per-view before WrestleMania,
Yeah. It's something strange. I don't know what was up with the planning or whatever, but I was seeing people on Twitter like the week before say, hey, what's the card for this show? Like nobody, it wasn't a big deal for them to announce the card, and maybe they made a lot of changes. I don't know, but a lot of people were kind of, like I said to Konnan before, I could hear people all around these individual conversations, like just milling about, talking to each other. They weren't watching the ring during the main event. Rollins' match was almost similar to that. People were totally disinterested in what he's doing. But AJ was over, of course. Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak opened the pay-per-view, and I don't know that Drew's ever really done anything in WWE, so it was more like a Bryan getting this guy over showcase, and it was really good. Andrade and Carrillo was very good. The tag Elimination Chamber had some crazy stuff in it. I think that should have main evented probably. And Alistair versus AJ with Undertaker's interference was probably the biggest, got the biggest pops of the night. The rest of it was kind of like, meh. Rollins, even as a heel, people are kind of like choking on him. Like, oh God, more with this guy, And it seemed to be the same.
I just think he. That's that dangerous thing where people feel you've been over pushed or you've overstayed your welcome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now they're just